Tonight we're going to learn about the Orenda Awaken kit. We're going to learn what the kit consists of. We're going to learn the magic of balancing your hormones and your immune system at the same time, what that can mean for you, and why these products are unique and cannot be replaced anyplace else. It really is quite a unique opportunity. Tonight I'm joined with Dr. Danuta Hoyer, and Dr. Hoyer is co-founder of the Comprehensive Center for Women's Medicine in Illinois. She's board certified in internal medicine and anti-aging and regenerative medicine. She's an associate professor of medicine at Rush College. She's been voted a top doctor in internal medicine, preventive medicine, and women's health by Chicago Magazine for decades, and has been a member of the National Center for Excellence in Therapeutic Lifestyle Change since the mid-2000s. Dr. Hoyer, it's a pleasure to have you on the line tonight.
Thank you, George.
Yes, indeed. Well, I want to just overview. Orenda has created the Awaken kit out of two of our most popular products, the Orenda Otropin, which really, in a sophisticated way, assists in hormonal balance, and the Orenda Immune, designed to do exactly what it says in the title there, to help immune balance. And those two products together creates a cost-effective and incredibly powerful way for a person to start on the path of rebalancing the key body systems and seeing the spectacular health that can result. And Dr. Hoyer, I know that already we've got an in-depth video on the Orenda Otropin, an in-depth video on the immune, but we want to touch on those products lightly, but also how they synergistically affect the human body. Why are these two products so important? Why are they synergistic?
Well, first of all, with Otropin, we are trying to rebalance the neuroendocrine system. And so think of the brain-body connection, and it goes offline frequently in our very stressful environment. So that would be the Otropin part of things, which I'll get into later. But the immune works synergistically with that because I look at immune as a daily detoxifier and also as something that balances both arms, the Th1 and Th2 parts of the immune system. And so what we're seeing in our society these days is a lot of fatigue, a lot of infection, a lot of poor sleep, a lot of decreased stamina, a big rise in autoimmune illness. And these are, often people can't pinpoint a diagnosis when they come into the doctor's office, but it's basically a sort of a sign of a body that's been running on empty for a long time. We have been exposed to many, many stressors. Our adrenal glands are overproducing cortisol. Cortisol is a stress-releasing hormone, and it should have peaks and valleys, and instead we are running on very high levels of cortisol for long periods of time, and then we bottom out and we're too tired to persist. So they work synergistically because when you are immune compromised, you can't fight infection well, you can't detoxify well, and so the two products really are helpful. I think that in looking at Otropin to begin with, this is a product that has the raw materials to feed your pituitary gland. And your pituitary sits up behind your nose at the top there. And over time and over the span of our lifetime, it slowly peters out. It doesn't produce the natural releasing factors that go downstream to our thyroid, our adrenals, our ovaries, and testicles. And people have a decline in its function. And so when you can deliver amino acids and various herbal supplements that I'll get into directly by a liposomal delivery, you can see a improvement in these hormonal regulations without being a hormone. We're just giving a food to the pituitary gland. And then when you take a product like Immune, which basically can help us activate our natural killer cells, which are those cells that can identify a cell that has a virus in it or a bacteria or maybe some abnormal DNA, and then grab it and present it to a macrophage, which then gobbles it up and takes it away, you can see how that can help with minimizing the effect of an infection, minimizing the effect of being exposed to various viruses, and really helping your immune system get more optimally energized. In terms of how I like to look at the two, Awaken Pack is like giving more energy and giving more zest to both the immune system and the neuroendocrine system. And it really does work together.
You know, a lot of people are challenged in our society today because we have hormone disruptors, which are toxins within our environment. Well, the immune helps to get some of those toxins out of our system. And then you have the otropin that helps to wake back up the regulatory mechanism. You were talking about the pituitary. Now, the pituitary really is very much like the conductor of an orchestra for your entire hormone system. It's critical to feeling balanced and feeling as good as you possibly can.
We know that the pituitary gland maximizes its function at about age 21 to 25, etc. And then slowly, as most of our systems, slowly declines. We are not trying to optimize and have a function of a 21-year-old, but we want to have it as optimal at every age as possible. And so when you give it the nutrition it needs, it can then form all the releasing factors that go from it to all these other endocrine glands. And specifically, it's going to enhance things like sleep. It's going to enhance libido. It will enhance endurance. One of the products in it, called Russian Mumi, had been studied by the Russians for years before it was introduced to the West, and it basically has been used successfully in high-level athletes and in others that want to improve their stamina. There is a new ingredient in otropin called pharma-GABA. And GABA, as we know, is a calming kind of neurotransmitter that gives a sense of calm and alertness, but the added ingredient in it is found in foods that are fermented. And we know that fermented foods are extremely important as good for our GI tract and other things, but that this is a sort of an added benefit, an added booster of the GABA. We also know that otropin has the amino acids that form the proteins that the pituitary needs to be nourished. So it's a very elegant spray. It is not just a hodgepodge combination of things that are put together because they're good for us. There's a lot of thought involved in how to put it together to make it accessible.
I think you bring out some very, very important points because you go into the health food store and there's thousands of different products in there, and somebody says, well, what's so unique about this product? I think, first of all, the only vitamin in the otropin is B12, which is primarily actually to stabilize the color and flavor of the product. I mean, it's a good nutrient, but these are not vitamins. These are herbs and amino acids carefully formulated and delivered in this high-tech liposomal delivery system. It's unlike anything you're going to find out there in the health food store. You just aren't. You sleep like a baby at night. Is that what you notice with your patients? I mean, do you see a quick response with people?
I'd say within 2 weeks, there's a noticeable response in depth of sleep and clearer thinking. There's also, it also has another neurotransmitter in it that produces, that basically is a type of bean that contains L-DOPA, which is a very important neurotransmitter. And one sees a depth of sleep, feeling refreshed in the morning, which is what we all need. And in addition to that, it helps with people who are flying a lot and having jet lag. They can reacclimate to changes in their sleep-wake pattern more easily. It is an anti-aging product. So what it also does is it forms a increase in something called IGF-1, which is a precursor that the body makes that eventually makes growth hormone. And growth hormone is a hormone that is not something that we just have, incredible numbers of when we're growing, but there are growth hormone receptors in every cell of the body. If there were no growth no need for growth hormone in adulthood, then we would never be able to replenish our GI tract, frequently. Our skin would not be rejuvenated on a regular basis. We would just sort of atrophy and go away. So having a natural food source that makes our body produce its own growth hormone is a powerful anti-aging message to every cell.
Well, it really is. So you see this balancing of the hormonal system and the immune system. It's synergistic. It's powerful for your patients. You see great results.
Exactly. I mean, immune is something that I think no household should be without. I think children of school age should be taking 1 capsule of it a day. Adults, standard dose is 2 capsules a day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. And I tell people regularly that if they have any autoimmune challenges, any allergies, any asthma, anything like that, they should take more. The beauty of it is it's not going to stimulate one arm of the immune system and depress another. It's going to feed both. And by that I mean that the 3 products in it are beta-1,3 glucans, moramal peptides, and calcium D-glucarate. Now, all 3 of these things used to be in bigger amounts in our food supply, but no longer. Let's take the first, the beta-1,3 glucans. That is usually found in baker's yeast and in a certain type of mushroom called a shiitake mushroom and in other sources of fiber. But what it does, it basically enhances the Th2 part of your immune system. And what happens there is it presents the toxin to the lymphocyte, and that lymphocyte is activated and then says to the rest of the immune system, this is a bad cell. There's something infected about it. There's something abnormal about it. Let's get rid of it. And it sends a signal to the macrophages, which then come and take it away and gobble it up. It also releases cytokines, which are sort of chemicals, if you have, that will inactivate that cell. The second component of immune is moramal peptides. Again, similar type of activation. It helps energize the Th1 part of the immune system. And there, moramal peptides are actually seen in the cell walls of bacteria. So you can tell how powerful your immune system is when it sees just a fragment of a bacterial cell wall. It is like on fire. It goes crazy. It wants to get rid of that bacteria. So it's going to activate whenever it sees a virus, a bacteria, a fungus. And we're all exposed to those kinds of things. And if they're in excess, they're toxic and we need to get rid of them. And then the last of the 3 components is calcium D-glucarate. And there you have to say that the last part of that word, glucarate, is the important part. It's not a calcium supplement. This assists our liver in one of the 2 major ways that we detoxify our body, and that's glucuronidation. And if you have enough glucuric acid to do that, you are able to get rid of the things that you mentioned, those xenoestrogens. Think of all those toxins from the petrochemical industry that are organic big compounds. They kind of look like a hormone, but they're not a hormone, but they come into our bodies and they stimulate our cells like a hormone. So we need to get rid of them. And this glucuronidation is the major detoxification pathway that gets rid of hormone lookalikes. So it's very important to have enough of that in your body. So you can see how important that is for our children. I mean, we have children who are at age 10 developing breasts. That's not normal. They're obviously exposed to some kind of hormone lookalikes that they shouldn't be exposed to. We have men developing breasts. We have, that's just an example, but there's so many, when we do hormone analyses in our patients, we see so many abnormalities. Things like infertility. 30 years ago, there was maybe 1 infertility practice in the entire city of Chicago. Now every medical center has one, and there are stand-up clinics all over the country. It's amazing how much toxicity is around us. So optimizing the health of your immune system is extremely important.
Well, it certainly is. And Dr. Hoyer, I want to thank you very much for being with us tonight to talk about the Orenda Awaken kit. Any final thoughts you have for people listening?
I think every household needs immune. I think most everyone above the age of 30 or 35 would benefit greatly from Otropin. And I think that the only other take-home message is that we need to sleep more. We are robbing ourselves of our future if we don't rest adequately. And in our crazed and very connected lives, it seems like our attention is always diverted, and sleep is not part of the equation sometimes. So anything we can do to improve our sleep.
And Otropin will definitely do that. Dr. Hoyer, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.